Hi friends, how are you? I'm Ron Strong, and we're going to talk a lot about crochet today, and I'm super excited. Now, we're in my office. It's a little different than my studio, which is what you all normally see, but this is my office. This is where I spend most of my days, just working my little heart out. So it's a beautiful day today in Raleigh, North Carolina. It's been kind of like manically fall. The mornings are fall. Afternoons, we're still in summer. So we're slowly getting out there. So make sure you leave a comment. Tell me where you are watching from. And yeah, I'm just really excited. Hopefully the video quality is good. Hopefully you all can hear me. It's always, internet in the woods is not the most fun. So, yeah, I am, going to try to see if I can see comments. So if you guys leave a comment, I'm gonna hopefully see them. Last time I did a live, I couldn't see any of the comments, unfortunately, which is no fun because I like chatting with you all. So, yeah. I think that's that. Let's just jump right into it. So, as you know, I've written a few books with Annie's. Actually, if I turn my camera, you'll be able to see these are that's my water bottle. But these are all my books that are stocked up, and some Christmas trees because I'm getting ready to decorate for Christmas. I've written 2 other books for Annie's. One of them, my most popular, I'm going to grab. Which I don't think is available as a print book, but I think you can still get it as an ebook. It's called New Methods for Crochet Socks. This was the very first book I wrote for Annie's. I can't remember when. Oh my goodness, I have no idea when. I think I wrote this in 2015 or 16, one of the two. But this is my first book with Annie's. And then I wrote one called Tunisian Crochet Amigurumi, which is really cool. And then this is the new book that just came out a couple of weeks ago. It's called Learn to Crochet Top-Down Beanies. I'm pretty sure that's probably reversed for you. We'll have links to this down below. But it is packed full, you all, of amazing, wonderful hat beanies. But the cool thing is that it's not just making hats. There's kind of like, there's another level to this, which is why I wanted to jump on here and show you. So you can buy this book. It's $8.99 for the print copy. There's also an e-copy, I believe, on the Annie's website. Here are all of the different hats, and don't worry, we're gonna go through all of these hats kind of one by one so I can show you guys. And then I'm gonna show you a really cool stitch demo. So if you stick around, I'm gonna show you a really cool stitch demo. So the cool thing about these hats in this book is that we used the same concept that's in my Learn to Crochet Easy Hats online class with Annie's. Now that class is available, I think it's still available on the website, and it's a great class. I love it. One of the cool things that we did was I wanted to make it easier for people to crochet hats without necessarily having to count stitches, because counting stitches is aggravating and it can be really frustrating. So how do you keep that from happening? Well, you use this. So this diagram here allows you to size your hats basically by putting a circle of half double crochet over top, and you just match up the sizing. That's all there is to it. And each one is labeled from baby to adult large, and it's from an 11-inch circumference all the way up to a 25-inch circumference. I also include the height that I recommend that you make each hat. Now, what's great about this is that every hat that is in this book and included with the online class, and anything you design using this method, you can use any hook size, any yarn that you want, as long as your circle matches this circle, whichever size you want to do. It's going to turn out great And you're never going to have to worry about your hat not fitting again. And you don't have to count stitches. I mean, you gotta count a little. Like, I'm not gonna lie. You gotta count a few stitches, but you don't have to count as many stitches as you normally would, which is what I love. Now, the hats in this book that are included, there's a lot of them. I think we have 8. Yeah, there's 8 different hats. And we even show some of the hats in 2 different colorways, which is really cool. But we go with like, this is called the double dip hat. It's half gray and half white. We have the Rocky Ridge beanie, which is one of the ones that's I absolutely love. But you can see right here that what we do is we start out with a crown or a circle of half double crochet out to a certain measurement, and then you just continue the body of the hat. So no matter what, whether you want to do the baby size all the way up to the, the large men's hat size, you're going to start the same. It's the same concepts. You're going to do everything the same. And you'll just work out to a certain point, and then you'll work the body of the hat. So all the hats begin exactly the same. The only difference is in the, what I would call the body of the hat, which is the chunk after the crown and before the brim. And each of these hats has a brim, which is really cool. So this is called the slip stitch beanie, which I just love that. That was a lot of fun to do. The Starry Stripes beanie is one of my absolute favorites. This was so much fun. And what we really did was used different yarns and like cake yarns primarily. And this yarn uses a cake yarn, Red Heart Roll With It Melange, which is a medium worsted weight acrylic, and the colorway was theater. But we mixed like a cake yarn, which changes colors with solid yarns. So that way you can really mix and match the yarns you want to use. And we used everything from basic yarns like Lion Brand and Red Heart, all the way up to more expensive yarns from places like Shape Yes and things like that. So actually the Starry Stripe, this orange here and this kind of yellow gold are from Shape Yes. There is a little bit of color work, which is, I love. You guys know me, I love color work. So there's a little cute little heart pattern. This is one of those that uses both a color changing yarn and a solid yarn. And you can see again, the brim there is just solid. And then you have this really cool stripes of a color changing or cake yarn. This uses, again, Red Heart Roll With It Melange in Showtime was the color. We even got a hat for the men in there. This was one of my favorites. Sorry, my internet is notification that my internet is going in and out. So here's what we're gonna do. Because I was afraid this was gonna happen. We're gonna actually move to the studio because internet it's better there. So we're gonna go. I already have the lights on, we're good. So we're gonna go down the hall to the studio. I'm gonna try to fit my tripod through. All right, we're good. We're good. We're good. We're good. We're good. All right. Now we're in the studio. Hopefully the internet's a little bit better in here. This is live video. All right. There we go. You guys get a little studio tour. I'm in the middle of filming a bunch of stuff. I got a bunch of packages. I know we're talking about my hat stuff, but do you guys want to see one of my favorite things that I get in the mail? Are you guys part of the Annie's Crochet Striped Afghan Club? I am. These are striped 16 through 18. I know I talk about Annie's Kit Clubs. I feel like every time I do a live video, but that's because I love them. And this is such a cool Afghan, and it's just stripes. And each month you get about 3 skeins of yarn, I think, every month, and the directions to do like more stripes, which is really cool. So there's that. I'm just rambling now to show you guys. I have so much stuff that is just in the office or in the studio. I also got a new Annie's Caring Crochet kit. The pattern for this is in my studio, or in my office, but it's for a fiddle mat, which is really cool. I can't wait to make that. All right, back to the book. Back to the important stuff. So we left off on the hats for the men. That was one of my favorites. Another colorwork beanie that I designed was the gingham hat. So this uses a kind of like a crunch stitch, which is what I'm gonna actually show you how to do today, which is one of my very favorite stitches to do. And it switches off color, which is a lot of fun. And yeah, so that was the last hat. There's also a little part in the book for stitch demos. But here's the great part, and this is something I get, it's just highly requested. Everybody asks me to do this, and I was really excited because we were able to do this with this book. There is a step-by-step video tutorial that goes along with this book. Now, I don't show you how to do every stitch, but I show you how to use the chart, how to get started with that little circle of half double crochet and increasing and all that kind of stuff. So this is a great value for $9. I could gush about this book. I'm very, very proud of this book. And it was, I think, #2. It got all the way up to #2 on the Annie's website. So if you guys order it today, maybe we'll make it #1 as a bestseller. That'd be cool. And another cool announcement is that I actually wrote another book with Annie's that's going to be coming out, I don't know when. I think closer to Christmas. I know that's going to be coming out. And that one is a Tunisian crochet book. So I'll do another live and we'll figure that out then. But I'm very, very excited for this book. Yeah, I'm proud of it. I'm very, very proud. I wish I had the hats so I could do a little fashion show for you all and show you. But these are all the hats. It's just, oh, I love it. I really love the men's hat. That's a hat that I would actually wear. It's one of those things where I don't always wear everything I make. I'm just not one of those people that wear things that I make, but I would wear that hat. And in fact, even though it's not a men's hat, I would still wear it. I wore this hat when I had to send him photos of the hats I was working on to my editor. I wore this hat and all of them, and I was like, oh, I really like this hat. I could totally wear this all the time. So, yeah, that's kind of that. Now I'm going to show you guys a stitch tutorial. So one of the stitches that I loved and I used a lot in this book is half double crochet through the 3rd loop. So I want to show you how to do that stitch. And I think since we have time and we're having fun, I'll also show you how to do the crunch stitch in the round and how I did that. And yeah, we'll talk a little bit about how to size the beanies. Why not? We'll do a couple things. We're all here. We love crochet. We're having fun. I'm gonna spin the camera around so you guys can see what I'm looking at. And I'm gonna scoot up real close to the camera so you're gonna get a nice view of my beautiful face. All right, so here is there's a little bit of instruction that talks all about your introduction, how to get started on each of the beanies, and even how to do a bit of sizing. This is kind of the big deal in the book. This is your diagram. So in the video tutorial that's provided with the book, you'll be able to see how to use this, but I'm going to show you today too, because I think it's really useful. So I have a small round of half double crochet here, and this is super bulky yarn, and I'm using a 10mm crochet hook. Now, if I was working, let's say, the child and teen size, I would take this round and I would place it, matching it up with the left side of this diagram here. And then I would just hold it down kind of near the center, and I'm gonna smooth it out. I'm not gonna stretch it, I'm not gonna pull it, I'm just gonna smooth it out. And I can see that I have a little bit of space still in the child and teen because I wanna match the outer rightmost line and make sure that entire section for child and teen is covered up if that's the size I'm going for. Now, if I was doing adult large, I would keep working rounds until it filled up this entire circle. But if I'm just doing child teen, I would increase it out until I was right here. So that's how you use this chart. It's really simple. Now, let's say that I was working the child teen and I knew that if I did another round, because I'm using super bulky yarn, it's going to be too much. What I would do in that case is I would leave it where it is, because all hats should be worn, not all hats, but most hats should be worn with what's called negative ease. And negative ease is kind of how tight a hat fits. So what I would do is, if you stretch this out a little bit, even though I told you not to just a minute ago, you can see that it nearly fills it up. So that means when it's on your head, it's gonna stretch to fit the head. Now, obviously, if I was doing the adult small, this would not work. It's not gonna stretch. It's gonna be very uncomfortable to get on the head. Also, if I was doing the toddler size, this is much too large and it's just gonna fall down and not stretch to fit on the head. So you kind of have to use a little bit of common sense and a little bit of crochet knowledge to make sure that everything is good. But like I said, this is all half double crochet. So it's really, really simple to do. Even if you've just crocheted a few times and you know half double crochet, then you'll be golden when it comes to doing these. So I'm going to show you guys how to do what's called, don't want to give you all the directions now, do I? Half double crochet in the third loop. So this right here, these kind of horizontal bars that look like knit stitches almost, those are achieved by doing half double crochet in the third loop. Now, half double crochet in the third loop is actually really easy to do when you're working in the round. So I have my hook and everything and I'm ready to go. I'm actually gonna lower the camera just a touch because I really want you all to be able to see this. All right, so here's my round. This is all half double crochet. Now, what I would do in order to get into my third loop there, I chain two at the beginning. I never count that as a stitch. I just solid crochet. So I'm gonna yarn over my hook to work a half double crochet. Then I'm gonna tilt my work towards me and I'm gonna find the third loop. So half double crochet has a front loop, a back loop, and what I was taught is the butt loop. That's the butt of the stitch right there. So you have the top, the back, or the front, the back, and the bottom. So you're gonna insert it through that bottom loop. Now that bottom loop is sometimes referred to as the back loop or the third loop. I call it the third loop because that just makes the most sense to me. And then I'm going to just half double crochet and finish the stitch. And you can already see that it forces the front and back loop of that half double crochet stitch to the front. So again, we yarn over, we find the butt of that stitch, and then we finish our half double crochet. Now, if you look at the back of your work, the wrong side of your work, you'll be able to really see where that third loop is. And it's kind of running all the way along that stitch. Now, if you're working flat, you can't really do this and get this effect working multiple rows of this half double crochet in the third loop. So that's all you do. How cool is that? It's just that simple. It's one of my absolute favorite ways to add texture to any kind of piece of crochet. And I'm just going to keep going around because I want to show you all how to join. I absolutely love all the hats in this book because we were able to incorporate, or I was able to incorporate such wonderful texture into each hat. And when you're incorporating all of this different texture, it really makes the hats fun and quick to make. You don't feel bored. Even if you're doing half double crochet, if you alternate rows of doing it into the third loop and then doing it under both loops, it makes it a lot more fun, you know? Then you're not bored, you're not sitting around, you're not like, oh, I'm just making another half double crochet hat. And the great thing about this book that I really encourage everyone is design with it. Like use the techniques I teach you and then just run with it. All right, so I'm going to go into the last stitch And one of the tips I always give is to recognize that the stitch between at the last, this is our last stitch and this is our first stitch, and in the middle, even though that looks like a stitch, that's our slip stitch. So we want to find our chain 2, and here's the slip stitch at the bottom. We're going to go into our first stitch, and I always go just into the stitch, and then I slip stitch to join. And most of the hats in this book are joined. A couple of them aren't, but that's how I do my hats. You can make them into spiral if you want, but I like a join. So look at that. Isn't it cool? I absolutely love that. Now, one of the things I told you I would teach you as well is how to do the cluster stitch. So this is I call it a crunch stitch, but you can see if you look closely there that it alternates between a double crochet and a single crochet to get this really cool texture. And you can see again, there's the brim just being that half double crochet. Now, how do you get this effect? Because this can only be done back and forth. It cannot be done in rounds. You can't mimic this look in rounds. Well, this hat is done by joining and turning your work. So I just finished a round and I joined. Now, if I were working that hat, obviously it would have been a round in pattern with color changes. But just to show you kind of the basic concept is I joined, and if I were to keep going, I would be working on the right side. But sometimes patterns require us to work on the wrong side. So to do that, you would chain, let's say chain 1, and then I'm going to actually literally turn my hat, and I'm going to start working into the back of the stitches. And this feels a little weird, and you always want to make sure that you're going to skip that slip stitch. This is not a stitch, it's a slip stitch. So here's our first stitch. And I'll do a single crochet and then a double crochet. And like I said, this feels a little weird because you're working into the back of a hat. And traditionally with crochet, when it comes to working with hats, we always work with the right side facing. But when you turn the work and you start thinking of your hat less as a circle and more as a piece of crochet that you're joining as you work, you allow a lot more design opportunity. And so we can do something like this with really cool color work and something that looks plaid without making it all that extra complicated. So right now, as I work around, I'm just alternating single crochets and double crochets in order to get that crunch stitch effect. And essentially what happens is because we're alternating a very high stitch, the double crochet, and a short stitch, the single crochet, it's forcing the double crochet kind of out. And that's what gives us that really cool texture that we can only get when we work back and forth. If you tried to work this in the round, it would give you some texture, but it wouldn't give you a whole lot. So I've worked my last double crochet. I'm gonna find my first single crochet, which is right there, and I'm gonna join with a slip stitch. Now I would chain 1 in this pattern and turn. So here's my right side again. I have my line of half double crochets in the third loop, and you can see now I'm getting this texture of these double crochets popping out. And you can see it's really well right there. So now if I were working again, I just worked into the wrong side. Now I would turn my work to work into the right side. And you just alternate working into the right and wrong sides in order to get this look. And what's also great is you're able to hide the floats. So you don't see any of the color changes. I was able to crochet over them and they are hidden really, really well. And you just get a really gorgeous look and feel. So there's a lot of, so like this hat uses a half double crochet in the third loop. So does this hat here. Which other ones? This hat here does. This uses color work. These are just stripes. And this uses a star stitch, which is a lot of fun. So there's a lot of different stitches and a lot of different techniques. I even did a little bit of mosaic crochet. This looks like it's just front post and back post double crochet, when in reality, it's a mosaic crochet technique, which is really, really cool. So I'm going to move back a little bit here and spin you all around. There we go. and move you up a little bit so I'm not looking down on you. There we go. All right, so that's my live for today. I hope you all enjoyed learning a bit and a couple of new stitches, hopefully, and learning a little bit more about Learn to Crochet top-down beanies. If you guys don't have this book yet, I highly recommend it. It's a lot of fun. The hats are really, really cool. Like I said, every hat is designed and sized from baby all the way up to adult large. So you're gonna find a hat that works for somebody, and gift-giving season is right around the corner. So give them this book, or, you know, you could give them a hat, I guess. So, all right, friends, I'll talk to you later. Thank you so much for joining me today. I had a lot of fun, and I can't wait to talk to you all again. Happy stitching. Bye, y'all.